and now I partner with Eternal. He does the artwork. I do the odd things here and there myself. It was started kind of out as a meme token. We had a burned LP and we had a renounced contract, but that sort of limited us. We wanted to push it further, and we wanted to actually add utility. When you renounce a contract, you kind of you tie your hands. You can't really do much with that. We wanted to get staking, but seeing as the contract was renounced, we would have to get a specialized contract in order to do staking. So we went another route and we went V2. And we have a few things in mind for it. We're going to have what we call the Power Ball, which is basically like the Powerball in real life. You can buy tickets using Power and enter in to win basically a jackpot. And two will be chosen every week. We chose the Power Rangers theme, or at least Eternal did originally, just because no one really does Power Rangers in crypto. I think there was maybe like one token that was related somewhat to a Ranger, but no one else really has done it. So we're probably one of the first to do it. Let me see.
Real quick, you brought up the Powerball. Now, are you guys actually able to buy Powerball through it, or is it just like a Powerball-like game?
It is a Powerball-like thing.
Okay.
It's our lottery. It's our first utility. It's actually within the testing phases right now. We are not going to launch before our actual utility is completed. And that's just part of our ecosystem that we have planned. That's the beginning. Later on, we're going to have NFTs. We're going to have multiple tokens. It's kind of everything's going to fit together. We've updated our website to V2. We have the stickers done. We're working on the artwork for the later tokens. Like I said, we're in the testing phase for our actual utility.
Yeah, so how is the testing going on the utility side?
Pretty good. We started on ETH. Just Eternal's he's actually available to talk if you want him to hop in as well.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
All right. Come on down.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going, Eternal? If you could just introduce yourself a little bit first and then dive into what you got to share with us.
Yeah, man, for sure. I've been an artist and designer for roughly 15 years or so in real life. Kind of been working in the crypto space since last year. I had a NFT collection that started off on FriendChain and then moved to Arbitrum, and we minted out there. And now I'm able to passively work on that, and then that gave me the freedom to start working on PowArb. And like Deacon said, it started off kind of as a meme coin. Just wanted a safe play, but obviously, as soon as we wanted to expand, it became a problem. So then we kind of rolled off into the V2. And in regards to your initial question, the testing, we're doing it right now on Ethereum mainnet using Gurley test. We're testing there, and it's pretty simple. Mostly right now, the things that we're worried about focusing on are making sure that the oracle that we have on chain is effectively working, because we want true randomization that's also not exploitable. The Powerball system itself, each entry you'll be able to select 4 numbers, and then twice a week we'll do a drawing, and if the VRF picks your numbers, then you win the jackpot. Otherwise, the jackpot just continues to build and build and build and build. Very similar to the actual lottery.
Now, is there just one big winner, or is there like the top three winners, top five winners?
So at first, it'll just be one big winner. Although we are in discussion and design right now for, in case someone gets like two of the numbers right or three of the numbers right. But for starters, it'll just be all four.
Okay, perfect. Do you guys have any plans to add additional games, like the lottery games?
Um, so with our initial roadmap and kind of where we're at right now, um, we are focusing instead on our initial ecosystem, which doesn't actually include additional lottery games yet. But we are, like Deacon said, we're looking at NFT collections, and then we're also looking at a play to earn game. So it'll won't probably won't be a lottery. It'll probably more likely be like a side scroller beat 'em up as we design. Um, but long term, it's already quite ambitious what we're trying to pull off. So we don't want to give ourselves scope creep and wind up biting off way more than we can chew.
Oh no, that's totally understandable. Uh, can you tell us anything about the tokenomics?
Yeah, sure. You want to tackle this one, Deacon? All right.
Sure. 1 second. Sorry, I have like 20 pages open. So our tokenomics for our PowerUp is going to be 1% for development, 1 for liquidity, 1 for buyback and burns, 1 for the actual Powerball, and 1 for the staking pool. So it's going to be a really low tax token, only 5 buy and 5 sell. We didn't want to go too too big, but you actually have to have some tax, so we couldn't go 0-0 for what we want to do. That's another thing when it comes to renouncing. You can't actually maneuver anyway. Like say we wanted to do a zero buy tax event or something like that. If we were renounced like our original contract was, we wouldn't be able to do something like that. I've actually seen another token. They were 0-0. Someone in the community wanted to burn some of the tokens. They accidentally sent it to the contract. It clogged the contract, and they had to do a V2
Yeah,
because the contract can't empty itself.
yeah, the renouncing the contract's a double-edged sword because as a developer, you got to make sure it's solid, it's done completely right, and you're not going to need to change anything in the future. Because, like you said, once you renounce it, the dev has
Your
no
hand,
control over
your
it.
hand is tied. I mean, it's basically a community token at that point. You can consider it because you can't adjust for, like, say we had to adjust for a little bit more marketing. If we were renounced, we can't do that. If we had some issue, like someone sent tokens to the contract, like I said, that can't be cleared if it's renounced. So it effectively will kill the project, or at least the contract anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also has to do with how much like work you have set up ahead of time. But in general, renouncing is ultimate safe, but also is essentially the end of all the growth for the project.
Yep. If
Yeah,
we were just a regular meme, like we originally intended, then it would renouncing didn't matter. But long-term goals, a lot of people say renounce right away, and they're the ones that tend to be the ones that sell within the first hour or so. The people who are really pushing for a renounce. So I mean, you're making a long-term decision on short-term holders in a lot of cases.
yeah, because again, it you want to take your time if you plan to renounce it because there's just so many things when you're trying to code it out that you just can't think about. So it should be a long term goal, but it shouldn't be rushed and it should be done right. Can you tell us about the circulating supply? the initial circulating supply you guys plan to go with?
Uh, yeah, I think I have that written somewhere. We have a lot of numbers to juggle because our original supply was one thing.
Well, yeah, I'm sure since the idea went from meme to actual utility, that changes a lot of how the tokenomics are
Yeah.
going to work.
So the original coin was 10 million in total supply. We're going to go 100 million on the second one, but we're going to lock 60% of the supply. So the actual circulating supply will only be 40% of total. And then over time, we'll actually unlock more of that just to make sure that we're maintaining good chart health.
Yeah, and also for things like staking and other things like that, especially like originally once we launch, we're going to have to actually supply the Powerball the original jackpot amount. So if we supply all tokens to the LP, we won't be able to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
You got to first become sustainable before uh, locking it all up into the LP. Because this is something a little different. You guys are creating here.
Yeah, and we're going to be locking LP for a year, and with 60% full circulating supply, that'll give us a little more control over, like I said, just the health. One of the biggest things that we have to consider is with these jackpots, a winner can potentially take 5-10% of total supply, depending on how big the jackpot is. So working on strategies and things to make sure that a winner doesn't automatically dip the chart if they sell off. That's kind of a huge priority for us, and we do have some things built in place as far as like there's a limit to how much you can buy, but not how much you can hold because there is going to be staking and everything. And then there's also a sell limit. So no matter what, even if they sell, it's going to take several transactions, and then the community will benefit from the tax on that. But we also have been tossing around some pretty solid ideas on how to we don't want to punish people for winning, but also we don't want to punish the community for someone winning. So we've been really working on how balancing and everything is going to work out to make that's going to be pretty successful. And I've got good hope for it. I think we figured out a solid approach to that.
Yeah, it's a fine tightrope always, between uh, you know, funding the project and taking care of investors. So you always got to make sure to due diligence when creating a project. Uh, uh, do you guys have that you any more information about the project that you'd like the community to know about? If not, we can open it up to Q&A.
Um, the only thing that I want to kind of throw in there is um, there is going to be, like Deacon said, multiple coins in the ecosystem. So there's going to be different opportunities for different things. Like the ooze token itself is going to be all about reflections. There's going to be some R rewards in there as well. Um, and each of the coins, they're all going to have tax, and each of the tax is going to feed each other's LPs or the Powerball. There's going to be multiple staking opportunities. There's going to be burn opportunities. There's also going to be, like I said, the play to earn game is in the pipeline. The NFT collection, and all of it's going to kind of work together just so that it all kind of feeds. So no matter what angle you end up getting in, it's going to be beneficial altogether. Um, yeah, I feel like I was going something, but then I kind of went blank. So I'm open to questions unless Deacon has something.
Uh, well, I have one real quick. So when do you guys plan to do the pre-sale?
The pre-sale is going to come after we have Power V2 and the first utility dropped. Then that way investors have something that they can actually invest in. And then the pre-sale is going to be used for the bulk of our other coins and everything to make sure that we have solid liquidity for each of those. So it's actually a moving target right now as far as when the actual pre-sale will happen, but that's only because we're taking our time, we're not rushing anything, and we're making sure that when it is time to have a pre-sale, people have something that they believe they can invest in, and it's not just kind of taking a gamble or a risk.
Plus, we're going to be open to partnerships as well, so our partners will be able to put their tokens in our Powerball as a utility for their projects. Obviously, we won't be able to have every project under the sun. We'll be more selective, but it'll give utility to partners. It'll incentivize partnerships, and it'll make larger and larger pots as we add our specific partners as we go along.
Right. No, the partner tokens is going to be a huge thing, and we're going to set it to be a certain monetary value rather than a certain set amount of coins, because obviously, even the price of power, the coins are going to fluctuate. But right now, we're looking at it'll probably be around $5 per entry. But whether that's one token or 100,000 tokens, it's all going to be up to the currency itself.
Yeah, and that's very exciting. Being able to draw in different partnerships. That'll help the growth of the project. And yeah, so at this time, let's go ahead and open it up to the community for any questions. If guys, please go ahead and ask them in chat. Make sure to tag me. That way I can see them. And then we'll go from there. Yeah. All right. What will the marketing be like?
Yeah. So you want to take this, Deacon?
Nah, you started already. Go ahead.
All right. So unfortunately, it's just part of the game. We're gonna have some callers in there, and I mean that's for better or worse. There's definitely some perks to it, but we're gonna space those out because we want to prioritize volume. Because obviously the taxes are going to benefit the community more than anything else. So we're going to have some callers. We're going to do an AMA tour with several lounges in the space, all of which have been previously vetted, like Bonus Round or Ninja Lounge, things like that. We're going to be looking to take ads out as far as on, Poo Swap and anything else that's, Arbitrum related. Um, we have considered going multi-chain, but that won't be until later down the road. So we can focus on what the hell we're doing now. We're gonna have community competitions for different types to make sure that the community is involved and able to get those rewards. We're gonna be making sure that we spread our net as far as we can, as far as getting on listing sites, and then we're also going to be generating a link tree to make sure that we have major and minor link building associated with our website, so that way we can get on some of the web crawlers. But more so than that, have a condensed version, because the further we expand out in our ecosystem, the more important it will be that we can nest everything together. Outside of that, we will be working on those active partnerships, so that way as people come in to bring their tokens into the Powerball, we're also able to market and spread to their communities as well. So all in all, we kind of have like a multifaceted approach to our marketing. None of it's a get rich overnight kind of scheme. We're definitely a take our time, let's go slow and steady, and let's keep a positive chart instead of a wildly volatile, which we understand is going to cause problems in its own for those traders that only like volatility. Um, but we think it's important that you build in the bear and you make your money in the bull. So here we are building, so that way later on it skyrockets.
Yeah, perfect logic. I was just saying that in our AMA the other day. So another question. Are there any incentives for staking? What are the various ways to earn your token, and what staking options are available for your token?
Um, so we don't fully have all the specifics out as far as like I can't give you an APR or an APY right now. But staking is going to be kind of unique also to the ecosystem. So our first partner will be a token called New Era Token, and we're actually going to be able to have staking for their token plus staking for the other ecosystem tokens. So as we expand and we release more information, you're going to see that there's needs for certain tokens over other tokens depending on what the situation is. So, like the Megazord token, for example, directly impacts the gains that you're able to have in the play to earn game. So, with that said, you're going to want to, but the only way you can get Megazord token is by burning Power. So each of the things has their own little niches like that, so that they kind of feed into each other, play off one another, and benefit each other as a whole. So just on the staking aspect of things, we're gonna have it set up long term to where you can essentially stake any one ecosystem currency for another ecosystem currency, but also depending on the level of partnership that we have, we're also going to be able to stake for partner tokens as well, which also contribute to the Powerball jackpot. And then long term, uh, once the volume and everything does come, we'd like to also look at the ability to stake for stables and also use stables for jackpot.
Perfect. All right. What is your plan to bring non-crypto natives into your ecosystem, and how do you keep a balance between developing the technology and also improving the value of your token?
All right. Well, so I can tell you right now that there have been many projects, many people, probably much better than I have, that have attempted to bring the normies into the crypto world. And there's just absolutely no success rate when it comes to trying to leverage education for any kind of profitability or positive margin when it comes to your chart. So I don't think that's going to be a priority for us. But what I can tell you is that because we are going to be, for our marketing approach, we're going to have ads and things like that. That will expose us and get us greater exposure to the more normal markets. Um, at, at the very least, I don't want to speak for my partners or anything, but we are particularly not a fan of too much centralization. So, with that said, we're going to be looking for kind of any kind of way to add the decentralized exchanges and things like that. So, multiple dexes, multiple opportunities, so that people have the opportunity to do arbitrage. As far as the how do we balance between it, I think it's less of a matter of finding balance so much as it is putting our heads down and working. The way that we're designing and building the ecosystem out right now is essentially set up to where each new piece feeds all the existing pieces, and then all of the existing pieces feed all of the new pieces. So, with that said, as long as we're continuing to release and we're continuing to keep our word and stay honest and stay building the way that we are, then I think the balance is really just going to be allocating our resources appropriately, but also just to never stop building. And then, like I said, even after we've completed our entire uh, V2 token, but V1 ecosystem, um, there's still a lot of places to grow, but everything is going to be very intentional and on purpose. We're not just bloating our project. We're not really trying to be a tune fork or anything like that. Those are all kind of red flags that we are trying to avoid. So I think the biggest part there is that we're just not bullshitting. We're building stuff that matters, that impacts each of the other ecosystem pieces, and we're building things based on what the community wants and what benefits the community. So the balance there is just literally
Just
using
keep
resources
building.
correctly. Yeah, I mean, don't ever stop building. I mean, I'm an artist, right? So I'm always working. That's just what we do. Um, but even more than that, Deacon is out there constantly. He tackles all of our community and marketing stuff, and he's just always out there building new relationships, priming new partnerships, the whole nine yards. So it's just we're never stopping. Um, and I think that we just got to find the balance between not burning ourselves out because we want to see this long term into the bull market, and you know meme season right now could potentially cause it, or we're waiting until May of next year for the Bitcoin halving, which I think it's a myth that that's the cause for it, but it's almost guaranteed it'll come by then, if not before. So right now, our focus is on building and investing in the future of our ecosystem and our investors, um, because the bull run is on the way, one way or another.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct on that. It's right around the corner. Uh, so we got time for one more, and then we're going to jump into the last part of the podcast for the day. Uh, as I know this project is relatively new, you're just getting started. What has been the most important update of the moment, and what are you currently focused on?
You want this one, Deacon?
Sure. I think it's actually delivering our utility is the thing we're really focused on. I mean, especially on ARB, there's so many rug pulls, there's so many projects that promise a lot of things, there's a lot of memes, but we want to be a project that actually delivers at launch. So so we're really getting our first utility down but ahead of time is a big focus right now.
And then what would
Just
you
to
say was your biggest accomplishment so far?
I think growing a very dedicated but small community that transferred over from our V1 to now. They are a little bit quiet, but they're global. I mean, we've got people from the Philippines, we've got people from Eastern Europe, we've got people from all over who pop in and out. I think, like I said, the community that we fostered, even during the transfer from V1 to V2, because V2 has been a bit longer, just because we are actually developing a utility now. Having a solid core group in a community,
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, community to me is one of the biggest, you know, green flags of a good project. As long as you have a good community behind your project, you normally can weather the storms no matter what happens.
Yeah, and it's definitely like I said, it's always even my previous project was a completely community driven one that eventually led to that mentality. So community is always a huge facet. Deacon's better at working than I am. I'm a little robotic in that sense. Um, but I think focus on that, and we have people like Princess and Ian, and just those are some of just the randoms that are just diehard, and they send us random Power Ranger art that they've made with bulges, and there's just so much going on where we're just focused on building that prime community. Like we can actually truly say that while our community is small right now, it doesn't consist of a single G, and that's because we know for a fact that they all held through V1 um, max bags, multiple max bags. So that's why as we move to V2, we already have multiple snapshots. We're going to be airdropping them and rewarding those original V1 holders, and just doing everything we can to make sure that we let them know that we appreciate them as much as they have supported us.
That's fantastic. I love hearing when the community supports the project and the project supports the community. Well, thank you, Eternal, and thank you, Deacon, for joining us. Guys, if I didn't get to your
Well,
question, please jump over to their Telegram. Links in the chat. and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer your guys' questions.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so this next part, I want to talk a little bit more about Ryoshi because he, inspired to get me back into the cryptocurrency, and a lot of these stealth launch projects that I have come across. One second, trying to get my screen set up. Um, of course, these are all speculation plays, so uh, I want to remind everybody to do your own research and don't just ape because I said some fancy things. Can everybody see my screen?
Can't see it at all, bud.
Nope. All right. How about now?
No, sir.
No? How about now?
Yes.
All right. So, uh, like I said, I'm going to talk about the stealth launch of Roshi's vision. Uh, and what is Roshi's vision? So, I don't know how much you guys all know about Roshi. He created uh, the meme token, the SHIB, and back in 2021, during that bull run, it blew up. Huge market cap. To this day, it's still in the top 15. Um, he eventually left the SHIB team and kind of left a vision for the SHIB army to uh, carry out, develop, and create true decentralization. Like I said earlier, uh, I felt like Bitcoin was too centralized. Rich sent me a DM saying it's decentralized, and we could argue that back and forth. But even to me, Ethereum is not decentralized enough. If you actually look into how their blockchain works, really there's like three people that could shut that blockchain off if they decided to me, that is still centralized control. That still has three people in charge of an entire process. So if you're a developer building there, you're at the whims of these three people. Now they built it in a way where it doesn't look that way, and in future podcasts we will do deeper dives into that. Uh, so who is Roshi? He will tell you he is nobody. He did not own a single coin even during the bull market. He could have been a billionaire if he held on to any of those tokens that he created, and he did not. He is trying to drive a future of us move into one global currency that is decentralized and that no nation or person can control. So this is one of my favorite exports from his blog that was left behind. I am Roshi. When you come to the appointed place at the appointed time and meet someone, introduce yourself as Roshi. If they do the same, then you have met a special person. And to me, that means that someone that is trying to build and create a new financial freedom for the people. Uh, when Shiba first formed, early in the beginnings, they wanted to make clear that no one was in charge. There was no one man accountable, no person responsible, and no entity that had the keys to the kingdom. Even as the ship token mooned, he got many messages like, Ro, you must be a billionaire now. But the reality is, to this day, he still owns zero ship. Why? Well, if he did, then he couldn't be who he was. And for that, he felt like he had a role to play in creating this new financial freedom for all of us. He felt like he would have a biased opinion because he would have to worry about the charts, stressing, and then he's only human. Emotions get involved, especially when you have your money put into the market. So the end result of this is we, the community people, are uh, fully responsible for our decisions. When people asked him with questions with expectations, he would always send a question back. So, okay, when you're going to do this thing that you just asked me, this method makes some uncomfortable because of inherent pre-room entitlement issues, in which man does not take responsibility for themselves. Rather, they look to an outside source to give them the boom, and if no boom, then to cast blame. So this is why he never wanted to dox himself. He wasn't worried about being known, uh, because then you couldn't put it on one person. And he always encouraged people to learn, do their research, and try to build with whatever resources that they had, whether that's a dev, marketing, or just, I mean, look at what the SHIB Army has done with like Wellies and all these other amazing projects popping up. And I don't know how well you guys can see this. Let me back up once. So down in the bottom left corner, there's a Twitter address that is for this project. Oh, I have a hard time saying it. Omikami, which Rich has been pushing in the chat. So transparency, he is an investor in it. I am not. Uh, but it looked like Ryoshi, when he left SHIB, he went and started this project. And it was just a community-based project at first. It was like an AI robot or an AI bot was like the only utility to it. I don't know too much about this project personally, but I did find this thread that was on their token page very interesting because it sounded like it is truly Ryoshi. And they left a video of him deleting all of his Twitter account as proof that Ryoshi was behind this. But in this tweet, he explains how he's seen so many developers abandon their project, even ones that use SHIB connections. Uh, they've seen projects shilled by VB and Elon Musk. And what happened? They would just do a massive pump and then dump. Uh, that's why he really felt that organic building is the most important way to build any crypto project. That's why you guys hear me. Anytime I do an AMA with projects, I always talk about their community. I ask about their community. And if they have a great community, I point that out because, organic building with a strong community is the key to almost any project out there, in my opinion. So what is organic building? Organic building refers to development of a project or ecosystem in a decentralized and community-driven manner. Organic building relies on the community to shape the direction of the project and incentivizes contributions through mechanisms like Jordan rewards or governance rights, which we've heard a lot of projects that we've brought on do a lot of this. This approach promotes transparency, fairness, and innovation while empowering individuals to take ownership of the project and services that they actually use. When you guys have, a stake in it, you feel you have to drive it even more and to keep that chart going. So as you build a community all around this organic growth, you create an army that will promote and grow your project for you. Organic building is in contrast to more centralized models of development where a select group of individuals or organizations control the project's direction and funding. Examples of successful organic building projects in the crypto space do include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Shibarium. Challenges to organic building include issues with governance, coordination, and scalability, which require careful attention and innovative solutions. So it is a double-edged sword. It's not. I'm not saying that this is going to be. It's the best end-all, be-all. There are pros and cons, and that's why when doing this approach, it's always best to do your own research. Overall, organic building in the crypto space has the potential to transform the way we think about building and using technology by promoting decentralization, community participation, and opens up innovation. So, now we talked about organic building. Now let's talk about stealth launches because I feel like they are heavily connected. Stealth launches involve the release of a new cryptocurrency or decentralization application with little or no promotion or marketing in advance. The idea behind a stealth launch is to create a grassroots movement around the project where community members are incentivized to contribute their skills and knowledge to help the project grow. The success of a stealth launch relies heavily on the strength of the community and the perceived value of the project's token or utility. If the project gains enough traction and liquidity, it may be listed on a decentralized exchange or a centralized exchange for wider adaptation and trading. Stealth launches can be risky for investors as the lack of promotion and marketing may make it harder to assess the project's potential and underlying value. However, this can also offer high rewards for early adopters who are willing to take a chance on a new project with strong fundamentals. Stealth launches are a form of organic building in the crypto space because they rely on a community participation and incentivizes to grow the project rather than centralized decision making or traditional funding models. Overall, stealth launches are an innovative approach to organic building in the crypto space, and they have been used successfully by many projects to generate grassroots support and interest. So, with all that being said, I would like to talk more about the blog that Roshi left and the hints he left on the roadmap to get to true decentralization. The first part of that would be Shi. His vision for that is for it to become the global exchange of value. She is an algo stable coin that will always peg to 1 cent. We imagine this will we imagine this will want to be launched after Shibarium has established, but can also launch before on the ETH network and bridge across, of course. Um, the most direct way is to make it a cent, like done on UMA, SNX, or with DAI, in which some collateral is locked up in order to mint Shi that has always pushes it to back to 1 cent. The other way to go about it is to study the Frax model, which is fractional reserve and has a catcher coin to observe the fluctuations in value to help maintain the peg. Which way is better, or is there another way? I am not sure. These are just starting seeds of ideas. Whatever it is, it needs to be built with care, not to rely on third party oracles. They need to be built to be fully contained, perpetual, and automotive. I highlight this because further in the presentation, I'm going to show you an ecosystem that has been stealth launched that does exactly this. My feeling about Chainlink is about the same as my feelings on Metric. This is a challenge that I don't know the exact answer for, but with the big brain power of the Shima army, the answer will be revealed, built, donated to the community, and properly decentralized. I highlight this again for the ecosystem I'm going to show you, and to link this back to the organic community building and stealth launches. If someone, and then he just kind of asked for help on how to get it done. And then I just put this slide in there because he kind of hints at another uh, innovative project, which we now know is the Shibrium Bridge, that is going to use uh, a plasma bridge and a point of sales bridge, which I have not seen anything like that before. And it is a very interesting concept, of which you'd have to dive into the SHIB documents to really see all that. But it goes with my theory on some of the projects launched. So in the closing, he wanted everybody to just realize that this is just the beginning. The blockchain belongs to us. As the SHIB army, we are an organic organism greater than any one man movement or even nation state. As our own movement, it is critical to implement the above ideas in a proper way to set proper financial foundations for the future. My vision is the core ecosystems tokens, SHIB, Leash, Bone, and Treat, all performing their utility while she slowly but surely becomes the globalization exchange of value. Just imagine, a fish vendor in Dubai accepts 330 Shi for his fish. Of course, tax fees will be minimal to none when it runs on Shibarium. So, going through Roshi's left vision for us, there's at least 3 tokens that we know will need to be there for when Shibarium launches. Treat, Shri, and a bridge to get there. So I first came across uh, a scam token called BShib, where this fake phone account was pushing, talking about AI and all this. I got tricked because I also seen this other BShib that was stealth launched on PuppyNet and then Ethereum. I started to dig into this, the wallets, the deployer, and I started to find all these different projects. I found Treat, uh, Wake Up, Heihachi, Revolution, and all these other tokens. I'll show you another slide. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. I'll share it in chat once I'm done here. But if you look at this, we have found that this Revolution token is connected to a DIA and it's connected to Treat, which has an auto burn mechanism in it, which is connected to She, and She is connected to the US dollar. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated, and my full understanding is hard on it because there's so many different connections. That's why I say I'm just going to give a rough overview. I'd encourage everybody to check out the telegrams and all the different communities. But going back to Roshi's vision, he thought at first they would do one or the other. But looking at these contracts and this diagram that a community member put together, it looks like this program works all together. There's like 6 contracts that all interact to each other. It's very complicated code. They've all been renounced, liquidity burned, uh, and it uses the DAI model, and it also uses the Frax model for a peg coin. Now, there's the question of, are these the official treats? That's the biggest thing the communities have a hard time getting people to understand. Because admins in like the Shibarium Tech TG will tell you they're not out, they're not released. I can tell you this, they are admins, they are not devs, They won't know. The devs are under an NDA where they can't talk about their projects because they're worried. This is very state of the art for the blockchain, and they don't want other projects to find out about it. So they're under strict NDAs. Um, but if you go back and read the full Roshi's vision, where I got a lot of the clips in the earlier presentation, you will see where he talks about the organic building, stealth launching, and the importance of all this so one person does not own and moon off of the product right at launch. He felt like that was the way to get true decentralization. Now, again, these are just my thoughts and opinions. Uh, of course, always do your own research. And if anyone has any questions, I will answer as best as I can. And this is, I'll share this in the chat. This is what one community member during his blockchain investigation has found the interconnections of so many projects like Unity, which is the unification fund, which is the unification program building the oracles for Shibarium. Uh, there's there's Call, there's QOM, uh, Okonami, the tree ecosystem, Bshib and Wolf. Then there's I can't read that one, but there's tons. Well, there's different so there's many different projects here, and so for like treat will be the reward system for validators in Shibarium, like how Bone was. Once that runs out, it will switch over to treat. And then there's the project She, which that will be the stable coin for the SHIB ecosystem. So it will always be pegged to 1 cent of the US dollar. That way, it kind of has the global exchange value, and that will give all the other tokens in Shibarium its value. And then, of course, Bone will be used as the gas token in Shibarium. And then there's Bshib and Wolf. Those utilities, they will be, those are the plasma contracts for the bridge into Shibarium from the Ethernet. Okonami, that one has an AI bot. I think they're doing metaverse, and then there was another utility that they were also working on that I do not remember. Yeah, Omikami is not Shibarium specific, but it is a community token that Roshi created, and then the community created these utilities. Oh, that's right. They want to create a credit debit card as a crypto credit debit card as a part of their project. Yeah, so Omikami, sorry, I have a hard time saying that. Uh, started out just as a meme coin, and eventually the community took it over and started to build more utilities in onto it. At this time, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I can share this diagram with you guys. So it's a little better drawn, a little better seen here. But these are all different projects that are either connected by the same developers, they're connected by Shibarium, or uh, there's some form of connection with them. Let me see. Let me grab this telegram. So this telegram that I just shared with you guys has all these projects in there, and you can do a lot of different research on all the different projects in there. There's access to the main telegrams for each project. I mean, again, these are speculation plays. I want to say do your own research, but to me, these projects right here are gold mines. Uh, Within this next 6 to 8 months, I guarantee this will. Well, I can't do that. I can't. Let me back up. I feel like they're going to be blown up in that time. Do your own research, not financial advice. Sorry, I get excited. uh, but yeah, there's a lot of different exciting projects out there right now. To me, all these projects are my hidden gems, and I really like them. Yes, and thank you, Deacon and Internal, for coming in, answering questions in the chat. Really appreciate it. Anytime you guys want to come and stop by, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to hear updates and progress reports from you guys. So yeah, that's kind of all I got. I mean, if you guys got more questions, I feel free to answer them. Uh, we'll jump out of the VC. I'll just stay in chat and we can chat. I really encourage everybody to go jump into that Telegram, check it out, check all the different projects, great communities all around. So thank you, everyone.